Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Franchise Fluent Podcast, where we keep you fluent in all things franchising, small business, and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Austin Titus, and we are excited to jump right into it today with our special guest, Robin from We Sell Restaurants. How you doing, Robin?
I'm doing great. Excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I appreciate you joining. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about We Sell Restaurants franchise. And, we're going to always just dive into it here. So, Robin, why don't you start off by telling the listeners a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the business?
Excellent. So thanks so much. For myself, my husband and I co-founded the brand more than 2 decades ago. We really decided to carve out something that was unknown in the industry at that time. There are many business brokerage practices, but very few had the discipline to stay true to just one single. We decided that was exactly what we were going to do. We were going to focus on the restaurant industry specifically. My husband has been out of Big Five County. I came out of Fortune 100 companies. My last role was as a VP of Strategic Marketing for a $4 billion division of Federated Department Stores. So we kind of took big business experience and said, let's put that into a brand. And years later, here we are franchising and working in 45 states nationwide.
Wow, that's great. So 45 states. And how long did you say you were franchising for?
We've been franchising for about 10 years now.
Okay. About 10 years. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And so what would you say from a consumer standpoint makes you guys different? I know that you just said a little bit about, business brokerage and, specializing in obviously selling restaurants, but why?
So a few things. The size of the industry, right? The restaurant industry is huge. It's between 30 and 40% of all franchises, for example, are affiliated with hospitality and food vertical. So the entire business model is based on something that's very, very large. And there are a lot of transactions that turn over very, very quickly. And people really need specialized help and assistance when they're getting ready to sell a restaurant. They want somebody who believes they understand how they've down the points they felt, and how they can assist them in moving to the next step. And by specializing, we always know what the business is worth. We always have lenders ready to go with that very, very specific vertical. We always have a high database at the ready. Unlike a general business broker, we're not saying come to us. We're all things to all people. It's pretty easy. You land on restaurants.com. We know what you're looking for, and we have satisfied that need.
Okay. Awesome. And so you guys get your customer is always somebody that's looking to buy a restaurant, obviously, or sell a restaurant. Yeah.
Others will just refer their restaurants and say, listen, I daycares and car washes and medical companies and everything else. You do this very well. Just refer that business over to you, which just comes to the level of expertise we have in the industry.
Interesting. And so who would you say, Robin, is your ideal franchise partner? Who does your franchisee look like?
So interesting. Many of our franchisees are former restaurant owners. So we talk about our business model as the restaurant business bankers out. You don't have employees. You don't have storefront. You don't have people coming out. You don't have this infrastructure, capital investment. But you're adjacent to this industry that you love, right? Because once you're kind of in the restaurant business, it's in your blood and you love it, and you want to continue to pursue that opportunity. So it's very, very good for somebody who's been in the restaurant industry and now we're transition into a different model. It's great for somebody who's getting any kind of sales background, whether it be restaurant adjacent type sales. Maybe they sell 80 or paychecks or something like that, or any kind of sales. But honestly, taking people from every walk of life, taking them through our extensive training program. They've quickly assimilated information, work with them every step of the way to put them on a path to success, and coach, and get to a place where they're very comfortable and very successful in their role.
That's great. And what does your training look like for people like that? Because obviously people that come into your business, they don't have any, business brokerage background or anything like that. Usually they might sometimes, but they don't. And so how do you kind of take them from start to finish all the way through? Because there's some legalities to it and all of that stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we probably have the longest training program in the industry. We start first week is virtual, and you actually read our book, Appetite for Acquisition, just buyer's journey. It's the We Sell Restaurants Guide to Buying Restaurants. We published it in 2012, and that kind of takes a good restaurant, what a buyer's journey could potentially look like, and all the different things that they consider. Then they're doing online exercises that are affiliated with that entire week. And every week is there's competitive shopping, there's starting to build that network, local community. So there's an exercise every day that I do on our online learning. Then we do training is a full-on deep dive into our technology, which is called the Brokerage Operations and Sales System. That's why we really differentiated ourselves in the industry, which is somewhat fragmented and not very technology reliant. We have had our source code for probably 18 years now that we invested very strongly in the beginning, and we built systems around restaurant approach. So if you need to write a listing agreement, it takes you 20 and 30 seconds to write an agreement. A full-on asset purchase agreement at competitions, at our conferences, and our best broker can write an asset purchase agreement. So our whole technology platform is about delivering leads to our franchisees, allowing them to work those very, very quickly and efficiently using the platform, and then do all the tasks. So we too is full-on boss and we sell restaurants. Then we it's actually going on right now. It's in our offices on post and a combination of role playing and PowerPoints and videos and Eric Chief Training Officer. We all take different segments a week, and we're training you how to do valuations, legal implications, contracts, forms, which of course all generate costs. And then next week they go out with one of our trainers. So we're now at a floor. They go out with one of our trainers, going on list appointments and calling on the buyers and sellers and having conversations, and then they go home and they're in their home office for the next 100 days with calls with them every single week, building reinforcing basics of what they learned during that training. So they're long ready to go.
Wow, that's great. That's a lot. It's a lot, but it's much needed.
It's a complex transaction, right? You're not walking in and saying, "Hey, make me a smoothie," or "Here's the froyo, let's fix it." It's it's a complicated business endeavor. So you want to make sure you're giving people foundational skills and support that they need, so that their reputation continues to be enhanced in the marketplace when they're out in the field.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. Now, obviously, you guys are a franchise yourself, and there's a lot of restaurant franchises out there. And so do you guys focus on that, or is it a part of your strategy, or is there any connection there? Or do you guys say, hey, we don't care what type of restaurants you sell, just go sell restaurants type of thing?
So do service franchise and independent. So it doesn't matter as long as it's a restaurant, hospitality related business. You will take the listing and somebody exits and get to a better place than they are today. to retire, whether looking to just downsize holdings, or they've made a bad investment, they just need to dump this and this into something else. Because we are franchise, we do have relationships with a lot of franchise who seek us out, because franchises like doing business with franchisors, and they're looking for ways to their franchisees their next. So there's some scary words in the industry that franchises don't want to talk about. Four-letter words like exit, fail, sell. We get those head on. We have a strategy so that someone comes in and invests and tries to do for a number of years. They need a capital event. They need a liquidation strategy to move to the space they are live. So restaurants helps with that.
That's great. That's great. And so a lot of that, going out there and finding the right customers is probably talked about in your training program, and you guys might have some bigger relationships with other franchisors. What other different types of things are you guys doing from a corporate level for the franchisees that kind of stand out? I know the name itself is a really good name. You guys have a great domain. Do you guys have We Buy What restaurants? You guys got to get that one too.
Just restaurants. But we invest a lot of time and into marketing franchisees. We all their listings to them on third-party websites. Search engine optimize every single listing comes through. We don't take can't throw us like 100 listings. In fact, our technology, boss, what's right. A listings for you that's at least 350 words, and then we send our SEO part of the search engine optimize and we send it out. We massively do content generation, right about you search how do you buy sell from someone at a restaurant, probably me, that's written over the years, talking about the restaurant industry. We're active on social media. We do that for our franchisees. So we do the marketing so they can sell the restaurant. Ultimately, we want to do all the things that we can to take administrative tasks out of the picture so that they spend 75% of their time in direct contact with clients. That's what restaurants are. We have massive marketing plan. We sent 11 emails last year to the database of buyers that hit our website. We have immense reach. They'll take care of the market just for franchisees to go out there, have conversations with buyers, and get listings sold for their sellers.
Yep, and that's like every good franchisor should do, is taking the administrative tasks away from their franchisees and having them focus on sales. What matters most to both them and the franchisor, of course.
That's the lifeblood of the business. And any franchisor that misses that mark, they're short selling themselves short and long term.
Absolutely. So where do you see We Sell Restaurants in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? What's your vision for the company?
We continue to grow. And one thing that's kind of interesting is that we kind of paused ourselves for a period of time to make sure that we every single system is buttoned up and ready to as explosive as we want it to be. We doubled size last year. We're on target to double again this year. Our reach, our dollars in sales last year's transactions was 101.8%. Double growth there as well. We found a very interesting niche industry, so we just continue to follow that path. But I think we're in 40 states now. After that's covered, I suspect 5 to 10 years we'll be in 45 states that we're here to be in. We don't think that touches the Pacific Ocean by choice. We'll be doing 100% business franchising, very, very little business.
That's great. And could you expand on that a little bit? So do you guys have like corporate offices around the country, or how do you structure that?
Well, because we're specialized, people call us to sell their restaurant. And let's say it's in Kansas City. Well, I have a phenomenal franchisee in that market, and I send the lead to him, and he picks it up and runs it. So our technology automatically takes him and emails him the lead, and helps them get him in real time. But let's say somebody comes to me from, I don't know, Topeka, and it's outside this territory. Then they want to speak to a restaurant person, and our corporate team listing department will start working with them. They'll do the value evaluation by Zoom or phone, but they are happy to work with us because they know it's ready database buyers for restaurants. They don't necessarily rely on a local resource. And honestly, as COVID really impacted business years ago, what we've seen is more people crossing state borders to buy restaurants than ever before. So we really saw massive adjustments. We're seeing that population trend too. Certain states down, other states being more just kind of raise the business level of people. They're voting, they're moving vans, and they're coming back, which we love, and it's been busy. But others are doing the same thing. So if we don't have franchising around, we just handle that list of homeless, which is on their stores.
That's great. Yeah, that is, like you said, super niche, and if people are going to, especially you've got a great domain, know the brand from around and know from the industry. Maybe they had bought the restaurant that they're currently in from you guys a while back, or, something like that. So that's awesome. And so you mentioned COVID a little bit and how it kind of scrambled up the industry. And it was, a lot of people were selling businesses and a lot of people were also buying businesses. I felt like people wanted to take control of their own destiny during that time. But then also there were some very hard financial times for certain people as well. How did your franchisees react to that? And, where did you guys go, comparing before COVID to after COVID, and kind of, you already said you doubled in size from last year to this year, but how did your franchisees react to that?
So, I think March 15th, 2020, we're living in forever, right? We all just didn't know what waking up to until we woke to this moment. So the first thing that we had to do, and we live to set up values for the company, and one of those is to act with integrity, only make it really key, and treat others as like to be treated, essentially the golden rule. So on March 15th, when we woke up and looked at the situation out there, we got all our franchisees call, and we said immediately, this can go really ugly very quickly for the industry. So some people are being closed down. And we felt in our DNA, we have to be very careful about how rich the industry is right now. We don't see as taking advantage of the situation. So here's what we're going to do. And this is what we laid out as corporate strategy. We're just going to halt to listing restaurants right now. Instead, I'm going to teach you franchisees everything ever know about PPP, EIDL, how you calculate how much you can spend and we spend it, how you apply fully, all the different programs. We send out messages to all of our current listings and to the large, and said, if you're in a situation where you're only able to operate at 25% seating capacity, but your landlord's charging 100%, and you need some help, call us. Free of charge. We're happy to start negotiating with landlords at half. There's a 10%, send this to your landlord. So I would say that between March 15 and the end of that second quarter, we had published 50 to 60 different articles, just aid industries, how we can do. And we really pause on, sell, or, our company just selling restaurants. That's not the message we want to associate it with. And so, we had a terrible second quarter. Third quarter, our sales were about 20 points ahead of the industry. And by fourth quarter, we were about 7% ahead. This Pascal was saying that the industry was in terms of transaction units. And I think we're kind of really concerted effort to say we're in this with you. How can you help? And the industry interesting. Austin is franchisees and restaurant owners. Guy with the stores maybe 2 months ago. He said, I want my restaurants, and we were talking with him, and I said, how did you got us? And he said, I'm actually COVID. I was Googling how I apply for relief restaurant industry, and some articles came up. And he said, I never did that. So like that hit me. And I decided I never was on my restaurant. I would call myself restaurants. So we had a very good year. 2020 we ended up very good year. 2021 was great. 2022. So we just continue to grow.
That's great. And yeah, and look, I've talked to a lot of business owners, a lot of franchisors, and I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, when it comes to how people reacted to COVID. And the ones that embraced it and tried to just continuously do the right thing made it through much stronger. And the ones that just completely held back and just went into 100% survival mode for too long didn't work out very well. Obviously, when that first shock wave came, everybody kind of went a little bit into survival mode, but it's once you realize, like, okay, we're going to get through this and this is how we're going to do it, you got to snap back into it and really go 110%. Because it's times like those that really, not only they show the good companies from the bad companies organizationally, but they also leave a lot of room for growth and a lot of opportunity because so many people kind of back off. And so it's a great story. Thank you for sharing that. So is there anything that you want to kind of share with the listeners here? I know we've been talking for a little while now and you've shared a lot. And so, but anything that we haven't talked about that you feel that, the listeners should hear about the business?
Well, I would say this, is that I think that a function of business is also reflected in how you give to the industry. So my husband and I both very careful along the years to align the mission of the National Franchise Association. I'm the chair of the Franchise Committee for IFA. And so there's a special place in my heart to mentor, grow, and develop anyone in this industry. The franchising has been very generous in giving to us. So I would if there's anything out there to understand this is a fit for them, the industry is right for them, they need a resource, they need someone to be connected to. Look me up. Happy to connect you and further education, path of industry, and hopefully a little bit of the giving that I receive from coaches and mentors.
Great. I appreciate you sharing that. And if people want to connect with you, where should they find you? What websites, what maybe social media platforms, where should they find you?
Oh my gosh. LinkedIn. I just did a video last weekend. I was in Phoenix and I was in a self-driving car, which was crazy. So always on LinkedIn, just find me on LinkedIn, Robin Gagnon. Also don't be on LinkedIn at WeSellRestaurants.com. And then our WeSellRestaurants.com. That's WeSell Restaurants.com. You can connect there.
Awesome. And to anybody listening, I will put that information in the show notes. And so go check it out. And thank you so much for joining me, Robin. We really appreciate it. And we wish the best of luck to you guys. Anyone listening, go and follow us on Franchise Fluent, at Franchise Fluent for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We are on LinkedIn as well. And you can see the video of this on YouTube as well. So we'll be posting the video. So thanks everybody for listening and have a great one.